Hey everyone, here we have my steering wheel for this year and basically a whole new steering wheel also for me that I have been learning for the last 3 months, and I have been trying to memorize everything that I see, everything that I do, every single function of these buttons that is, I would say thousands of functions that you can, and combinations that you can achieve with all these switches. Let's start with the simple stuff and then we start getting a bit more complicated. The neutral button, basically whenever you press this button, doesn't matter the gear you're in, you can put the car into neutral, and it's just very comfortable to, instead of downshifting, pulling the clutch, whatever, just press the button and the car goes into neutral. Pretty typical Formula One thing that simplifies everything. The pit confirm button, whenever they tell me to box, I need to press this button to confirm that I hear the message. The radio button, you press it once, radio opens, you can talk how much or however or for as long as you want, and then you close it and the radio switches off. My engineer can still talk to me while I'm talking, so we can have a proper conversation. The charge button, basically to put the power unit into charge mode. You know, nowadays we have the batteries that are using all the energy in a qualifying lap, and then we press this button and we recover that energy and the battery goes back to full charge. Let's keep it simple. Pit lane speed limiter, we brake, hit 80 kph, put the speed limiter on, and you can go as much on throttle as you want, that the car will not go over 80 or 60 kph, depending on the circuit. These two buttons here is just to change, this one is a bit difficult to explain, all the defaults from the car. Basically, my engineer would tell me default 56, and I need to press 5 times this one, 6 times this one, and I change something in the car, a sensor, and that's it. Basically just for the engineers to be calm and happy about their switches and about the sensors. The oil transfer button, you press this oil button and the car keeps sends an extra bit of oil to the engine whenever the engine is lacking a bit of oil. The modes, we have the mode race, the mode box, etc., the mode slow, the mode push. This basically changes the strategy of the power unit. For push lap is qualifying lap, race is race mode, where the energy is more balanced, we don't spend so much energy. Mode formation lap, mode warm up, warms up the engine. Basically tons of different power unit modes to get whatever we want from the engine. But then here comes the power. Engine 6, engine 4, engine 3, engine 2, engine 1. The higher, the closer to 1, the more power we have from the engine. Normally in free practice you run more conservative, and then in qualifying you go full beans and more engine power. This is the tire phase. Here I can let my engineer know how is the tire. Here is the clutch strategy. Here I choose which tire I'm in, so I am either in slicks, in intermediates, or in extreme, because the diameter of the tire changes because of the extreme wet changes from an inter, and you need to change the reading of the sensor to that. And then we have all these balance switches that I call them toys, since I don't know why, but I call them toys because you play with the balance, you play with the car. You have the shock, that is the battery strategy to spend more or less energy. You have the diff entry, which is the differential remains more close the higher you go on entry, and more open the lower you go on these buttons. The diff mid, the differential in mid corner, so you change how much understeer you want to have in the mid corner, how much you want the diff to help you to rotate or not rotate the car. The torque, this is basically the start map, where we change a bit how much throttle we want for the start, and this helps us a bit. The brake shape, which is the brake balance through the corner. I know it's getting a bit complicated, but it's not that complicated. This just prevents you from front locking. So once you start turning, the balance shifts from forward to backwards, and it puts more braking at the rear to prevent us front lock, that you will see us a lot of times flat spotting. So if we flat spot a tire, it's because our performance engineer is not doing a good job with this switch. It's never the driver fault, okay? Never. And then you have the engine braking, which is the amount of torque engine braking from the engine that the engine pulls and it brakes.